So, if you recognize the setup, you already know where I'm at, you already know what type of video this is going to be. Janky Job Journal, tech support tangent, and because this story is only a month old, yes, I'm still pissed about it. Just a few things to get off my chest before I get into the story. First things first, ever since the C word happened, I just want y'all to know, most jobs that require being on the phone have moved to work from home to some extent. And most companies doing that have had to adjust their resources so that those jobs can be worked from home. And what most jobs and companies are not telling you is that it's a very fast and ghetto-done system. Translation. A lot of the systems that have been put in place overnight for people to work from home were not meant to be accessed from that many locations at the same time. What I'm trying to say is, before you bum rush a phone line like first thing in the morning, give everyone like a 15 to 30 minute curve. Not because we're just rolling out of bed and we're not ready. I am. But because half the resources we need to even do our jobs correctly isn't ready for us. Prime example, I clock in at 9. The tools I need to actually do my job don't work efficiently till at least 9:30 on a good day. Another part of the pandemic program I need y'all to quit pushing, please quit dialing before we open, sometimes and or on multiple phones. Like I said, my job starts at 9. Sometimes we start the day with 10 to 15 people waiting, and it's just us clearing calls of silence and no one being there because some smartass tried to call us early to get the first spot in line, and then when they finally got on the phone, which all you had to do was be on time when we opened, no one's there. So we spend the first 30 minutes of our shift just clearing out people that don't exist. Or, the quickest way to make a whole department of people hate you, dialing us on multiple phones. We know when you're doing it and it pisses us off royally. So if someone answers a call and we hear our own hold music in the background, or we answer and we hear you talking to somebody from our team in the background, we are just gonna hang the fuck up. Because the time we are wasting checking to see if anyone's even there to answer is time that could be spent helping someone that actually needs it. And the people who do this are usually the same annoying asshats who never want to wait their turn and have the nerve to hold us hostage the longest and then end the call by asking if we have a quicker way that we can be reached. 90% of the time, even if we do, we are specifically not giving it to you. Yeah, I had to move because the fridge was... Y'all hear it. Anyhow, my next point, moving strictly into the world of tech support and customer service, senior citizens. I'm not going to say please stop calling because that would sound mean. However, if you don't know technology and technology is the thing you're having a problem with, please do not call us without at least a nearby young person or local teenager on standby to help you. And when I say senior citizen, if you have an AARP card, are of retirement age, remember World War II and or the Prohibition, or your birthday has 19 anything in it, I'm talking to you. And again, I'm trying my best to not sound rude about this, but this is how jammed up my job gets when at least 2 of y'all call. And these aren't even old screenshots, these are from a few days ago. Like, my team is a decent size and we're all pretty good at our jobs, but if 2 of y'all call, those 2 workers are now out of commission and our whole time just went up by at least an hour. And sometimes it's for like the most basic stuff that I can't even help with. Prime example, once a week I get a call with somebody who can't put in a captcha code correctly. Either they can't put the right casing, they keep putting spacing where it doesn't need to be, or they just can't see it because they're nearsighted and won't put the damn glasses on. So once I hear that age in the voice and realize that's the problem, I'm sorry, I know I'm losing at least 20 minutes so the Nintendo Switch is coming out. Alright, getting a bit more specific in territory, if you are an elderly person and you have not been the victim of any kind of violent or non-violent crime or anything in between in the last decade, and you think you need a security system, no you don't. And I know I said I was going to try to be nice about it, but if that didn't work, and you're still feeling paranoid or like you're always in just constant impending danger even though nothing's ever happened to you, I'm gonna let this man say it.
Because the truth is, nobody in this town even knows you exist!
The amount of calls I get on a weekly basis of just paranoid old people who, rather than call the police or even a neighborhood watch, feel the need to just pander to me with all their paranoia for no reason whatsoever. And usually the people who are selling this stuff to them or installing it or both are usually some scumbags who play on that paranoia in order to sell them the most equipment for like 2 to 5 times the price. And if after all that you still feel like you need some big beefy security system, maybe consult with your children and grandchildren and let them know you're pissing away $10K of their inheritance, all because you got some new neighbors and now you don't.
Trust them new niggas over there.
Prime example, a call I had last week.
This new family moved in and now all the kids are playing in the street every weekend after school, and it's a lot more activity since they showed up, and I don't like it. I don't like too much activity going on in this neighborhood now.
Yeah, ma'am, unless something's broken, there's not much we can really do, but how much did you spend on this system?
About 12 grand. The guy said it was top of the line.
Okay, and how does your family feel about that purchase?
My kids never answer the phone for me.
Yeah, that checks out. So slowly turning the curve onto what this story actually is, some of y'all know I work with security systems. Specifically, I work with a company that manufactures them commercially. So basically, we sell to the people that you buy the things from. So calling my job for a majority of the things that we get calls for throughout the week is the equivalent of blowing a tire on the interstate, and instead of calling your insurance agency, a tow company, AAA, even maybe the dealership, you track down the plant that the tire came from and ask them to come get you. Even worse, when those other 4 people I named are the ones that told you to call us. Real talk, my job is basically Twitter, because on a daily basis, our biggest problem is misinformation. So a good chunk of the workday for me and my coworkers is just telling people,
we don't do that here.
like I said, we are just the manufacturer. We basically help you figure out what it is you need to get done so that whoever helped you get it set up can go do that. We build the things, send it out to the world, and after that, we are removed from it completely. And the order of operation it's supposed to go is you have us, it leaves, you then go to a distributor, who then goes to a salesperson, who then goes to a technician, who then sends it over to you. Maybe all in one if your guy is good. Meanwhile, us, are completely removed from the process. As you can see, we're not involved in any of this. Yet at my job on like a national scale, these people have all basically just slacked off on their duties and just dump everything they don't want to do on us. So for those of you under the age of 18 watching this, young men, especially young black men, please, for the love of God, learn a trade. Because most of these bums here are still in business strictly because they don't have any competition. So with all that being said, here's how this confused and angry old man ended up on our phone terrorizing us for 2 hours. Basically, my ability to help you and do my job is completely dependent on how well and thorough these people did theirs. And in case you haven't figured it out yet, they didn't. And honestly, it baffles me and my team on a daily basis how all these people were physically involved in you acquiring the item, and then when you need help, all these people shed their responsibilities and then dump you onto a person, company, group, or entity you've never heard of or even spoke to, and can only offer you assistance over the phone for a problem you need someone to come over and physically fix. And because this has come to my job's attention at the highest level and they literally plan to do jack shit about it, I've started dry snitching. You get sent over to call us for a problem we're not supposed to be dealing with in the first place. I'm going to find out how many of these people were involved, who all missed which step in each part of the process. I'm going to give you a complete list of all the things they were supposed to do, point out how many of them they didn't do plus extra, and then when I'm done rattling the cage, I'm going to send them right back. Sometimes with a company phone number or corporate email. Okay, I am starting to ramble. Let me calm down. On to this angry ass old man. So about a month ago, I get a call, and my immediate response when I saw it,
oh shit, here we go again.
because looking at the notes from his previous call, I can see he spoke to somebody an hour ago, and based on the details left, I knew this was a senior citizen. And when there's at least an hour gap between calls from the same senior citizen in a day, what happened was, they called in, wanted a completely unnecessary amount of extra help, more so than they should have gotten in the first place, and then got confused at the most basic, earliest of steps and simplest of technical terminology. They then got frustrated or embarrassed or both that they couldn't figure out the most basic thing that a toddler could with a tablet in an episode of Gracie's Corner, so they rage quit the call and hung up. An hour has gone by, and now they're calling back, which means they've cooled off, and now they're coming back here to waste even more of our time. Okay, sir, if it's your app that's not working, we need to go back to the system.
The what?
The box that's linked with all the cables coming out the back of it that controls your cameras.
Oh, I'm right there.
Okay, is there a monitor attached to it that we can use?
The hell is that?
The TV that shows the cameras?
I know what it is. You think I'm stupid.
I never said that.
And I said it's my phone that's broken, not the system.
And I said we have to fix your phone from the system. So can we log onto that monitor?
No, I'm logged onto my computer.
When did you what? Okay. We have to do this strictly from the system, or else we can't.
Or else what? You threatening me?
Not at all.
I don't have to deal with this shit.
Hello? And now that he was rested and relaxed from that riveting phone call, now it's my turn. So I see this call coming to me, read the notes on what happened, I take a deep breath, and the first thing I hear is, I want to speak to a supervisor. So backtracking to early in this video when I explained to y'all how other people like to dump their bullshit on us. Yeah, it's gotten so bad that they have pulled the supervisors from being publicly available on our phone lines. Because so many outside entities have basically picked up on the fact that my job will never fight back. At one point, they were just sending people over to us en masse, making them demand a supervisor the second they call in. So now you've got upper management wasting hours upon hours every single day on things that we're not even supposed to be dealing with in the first place. So now the only way to get a hold of a supervisor, if you even really need one, is to request a callback by filling out some paperwork. And then when they're done doing actual managerial activities, Then it would take some time to go over your information and see if it's something we even need to be bothered with in the first place. So I explain the supervisor situation to him and politely tell him, hey, I see what your issue is. It is fixable. Let me walk you through to the best of my ability and see if we can solve it here. If after all that you still want to talk to somebody in upper management, I will see what I can do. He seemed okay with that, and I'll give him points. He seemed to follow my advice from the beginning of this video because he grabbed his local teenager before this call, and then proceeded to fight me every single step of the way. And the worst part is I can hear him getting snippy with Buddy over the phone too. So every instruction I give, I can hear somebody in the background going, no, that's over there. No, press that. No, scroll down, not up. And I hear him going, get off me, I know what I'm doing. So now he's picking a fight with me over the phone and physically with somebody there with him. So I'm not going to bore you all with all the details because like I said, this took a while. But basically, in short, he got new internet and some lazy ass tech forgot to hook it to a security system and make sure it works. Fix that. He also claims his app wasn't working. Turns out, he never even had our app in the first place, so I don't know what the hell he downloaded this whole time. Fix that. And after completing those two things, somehow managed to break it on his computer. I don't know when. I never even told him to touch that, but I fixed that too. So not only have me and his local young adult solved all this man's problems, we now have more things working than he had broken in the first place when he called us. He has now received more assistance than he needed in the first place. He has more things working than he even wanted when he initially dialed in. And after explaining to him that everything is working, he is good to go and back to normal, then I hear the pause. Hey there, this is a cutaway. I'm here to explain to you the pause. The pause is a phenomenon that can only be experienced in the world of customer service, and the three requirements are you, an irate Kevin or Karen, and a job you don't get paid enough to care about. Now, once you've solved this customer's questions, quarrels, and qualms without showing an inkling of attitude and remaining professional the whole time, you're both going to enter a sort of shared private pocket dimension. You'll both enter a state of euphoria. Silence will fill the room. No words will be said, but you both know what's being said without saying it. And then, the high will wear off, the person will come down, and one of two things is going to happen. One, they're going to realize how irate they were being and apologize to you. The apology will mean nothing. It is absolutely worthless, but you appreciate the gesture. Or B, what happened to me on this call, they realize how irate they were being, they're too embarrassed to admit it, so they just decide to double down on being a dickhead. So as I'm explaining to this man that all of his issues have been solved, as well as taking preventative measures for future problems he could have that his installers clearly missed, he cuts me off going, wait. I still want to talk to a supervisor.
Why?
And throughout the process of this entire thing, he's still been very vague as to why he wants to speak to one of them and will not give me a reason. So here I am over an hour into this call, once again reminding him I cannot directly transfer him to a supervisor because there is no one on the phone for me to transfer him to. But if I can help him, if he at least tells me why and see if it's worthy of a supervisor's attention. I would much rather speak to a supervisor about it. And when can y'all get back out here for a service call? That last sentence slowly giving me a hint of why he's even here in the first place. Remember what I said about things we do and don't do? You still can't transfer me?
Nigga, no!
So for like a fifth time in 5 minutes, I explained to him I physically cannot transfer him to a supervisor. Also, we don't do physical visits or camera installation. Not sure where he heard that in the last hour. And after ducking more of my questions, still won't tell me why, but is still demanding a supervisor. So trying to be nice still, I tell him, if you still want a supervisor after all this, the quickest way is to get a call back. I emailed you our website link along with your case information. It details everything we have done for the last hour plus. Go to the link in that email, fill out the area that says contact, and give that case number. The fact that they will see that you've spoken to 2 of us already today for this amount of time, they will notice it, take it more seriously, and someone is more likely to call you back quicker. Now, this is not the legitimate way to get a supervisor. This is the I work here and know how things go, so if you would just shut the fuck up while I'm trying to give you the hookup because these phone lines are recorded, so I'm trying to say it to you without saying it, way of getting a supervisor. I finally get him to go along with this, and all he needed to do for the next part was click the link in the goddamn email. So of course we spent the next 20 minutes of him misspelling the link and ending up on the international version of our company website. And I told you at the beginning of this video, old, can't type, gonna lose at least 20 minutes. So you know what I did, right back to Smash Bros and shiny hunting Pokemon. And part of what I think made this take so long, the young guy in the background he had helping him, I can hear him smacking his hand away from the keyboard, and I think that's where the mistypes kept happening. So, finally get this man to the correct website, finally try to execute my grandmaster plan to get him the hell off my phone, and he decides to ask one more final fucking time. You sure you can't just transfer me to a supervisor? So I politely tell this man a final time, no, We physically do not have that capability because they are not accessible on this phone line. I can get them to request to call you back and give them the notes of what happened here today, but I need you to at least tell me why you are requesting a supervisor. Oh, I don't want these cameras anymore. Then what did we do all this for the last hour and a half, you worthless foot in the grave motherfucker? I just hear the young man snatch the phone and go, "Hey, thanks buddy for everything you've done for us today. You've been a big help. We'll get the rest of it taken care of."
Krillin, what is that?
Pure rage, Gohan. Pure rage.
3 fucking hours that could have been spent helping multiple other people, spent helping someone with something they didn't even want in the first place. And then when you find out the reason for their call, you found out they've had the wrong fucking number. This is a daily thing in my job, by the way. This only took that long because of how old and stubborn he was. But I figured y'all would get a good laugh out of it. So that wraps another Janky Job Journal, and just like every other place I've been employed, I have dozens of stories from this job alone. But if y'all want to hear any of those, be sure to like, share, subscribe, or if you have your own tech support complaints, feel free to put them in the comments below. Thank y'all once again for 1,000 subscribers. Apparently some of y'all did not know those were active codes in the last video, so I would go back and watch it to make sure they maybe have not been claimed already. Orlando's been nice. MyCon was great. I have to go back now. Enjoy your week.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth.
Beats, baby.